Hey everybody, this is Kingslayer here, and I'm actually just kind of watching our first Platinum Tournament finals. And we have two really good competitors here. We had a 24-man tournament for our first Platinum Tournament, so we thought that was really cool. And it looks like we're watching a Kagero mirror match here. We are watching currently from the point of view of Jeff Laldy, and uh, the opponent here is Hunter. I believe that's how you pronounce these names. Which I've never met these people in real life, so I actually don't know how to pronounce it. But again, this is a Kagero mirror match, and I'm not actually streaming this live because of issues that could possibly arise with the stream sniping and things like that. So this is actually going to be uploaded after the match is already finished. Um, but again, this is our first ever Platinum Tourney, so I'm gonna basically, the way this works is the winner of this entire tournament earns Platinum Roll in the CFU tournament server um, for the month. And then those who take top 8 will take gold rolls. So the loser of this match will still take a gold roll, and before this, the highest roll other than last month's champion was silver. So no matter what, they're going to be leveling up here. And as we see, Jeff here just a blockade. So these are best of 3 single elimination bracket tournaments. And I know you guys saw I jumped in sort of in the middle, but not really. This is game 1. They started right before I started recording here. So I'm actually going to be hosting, as soon as we get approved, that is, we're going to start hosting Bushiroad official tournaments with gacha packs on the line, supplied by Bushiroad, and I assume Game Studio. I don't exactly know how that works. I just know that they're going to be giving prize packs to our winners based off specific guidelines. Basically, the more participants you have in the tournament, the more they give out. So we're definitely encouraging as many people to sign up for these as possible. However, we are doing it on a first come, first served basis, which is why we have the ranking system we have. Our higher ranks will get first priority and first sign-ups for these tournaments. So this is definitely a really good opportunity for a lot of players. I'm really glad that Bushiroad is reaching out to a lot of tournament organizers and allowing them to make their tournaments official and have gacha packs on the line and things like that, because there are a lot of people who are free to play, and this is a really good opportunity for them to get more packs and get more material and things like that, so that they can kind of keep up with a lot of the players who are not free to play, the ones who actually spend more money on the game. And there is nothing wrong with being free to play. There is nothing wrong with spending money on the game. People have their preferences. So as we saw here, Hunter, I'm not sure if he's playing a damage denial control game here, or I see his Vanguard still stood. I should have paid a little bit closer attention, but I got distracted talking to you guys about our tournament format. But these two have come a long way. Again, this started off as a 24-man, and we started kind of early in the morning for those of us in the Western Hemisphere. So again, I apologize for that. We were trying to reach out and allow competitors from other parts of the globe to also to be able to compete, and not starting really early in the morning. And I do believe that, I could be wrong here, I do believe that both of the competitors currently in the finals are from the Eastern Hemisphere. So I'm sure they're probably happy that we didn't start at like 3 in the morning over there. So yeah, this is basically, I'm gonna have to constantly be recording these tournaments and things like that, because Bushiroad does require video evidence of a tournament when they are official. So even though this one here is not Bushiroad official, this is one of our Platinum tourneys where the winner takes the Platinum role. Once we do start uploading Bushiroad, or once we do start doing Bushiroad official tournaments, we are going to have to record them. So this is sort of practice for that, I guess. We're planning on hosting the first Bushiroad official one in a couple weeks or so. So, like I said, this is kind of practice for that, but it's also kind of an opportunity for these two competitors for me to kind of show them off. And we had a lot of really good competitors in this bracket, and some of them lost out due to bad luck. You had some really well-known competitors from other servers, some YouTube content creators, things like that. I know I've shouted out Lord Rylek a few times in our videos, and he was in this tournament and got knocked out in round either 2 or 3. I believe he got knocked out in round 2. So, like I said, there's a lot of really good people in this bracket. So we currently are seeing a, obviously, like I said, it's Kagero Mirror, but it's Blockade versus the End right now. And I'm not actually sure if the current player that we're viewing on Blockade, I'm not actually sure if they're running like a pure Blockade build, or if they're actually running more the End or things like that. I see there's an Overlord in hand. So we're going to keep watching that and see what's going on between these two builds, because they do look pretty vastly different. And there's another top deck Blockade. So I usually don't record / streams our player matches. Usually I'm talking about the league and things like that, but ever since we disbanded the league, I haven't uploaded at all. And I've had a few people ask, when are you going to start uploading again? And this is probably a lot of what I'm going to be doing, is recording tournament matches and talking about them, commentating on them. My teammates will probably jump in with me as well once we actually start seeing each other again. I haven't seen either of my teammates in a couple months, thanks to COVID and things like that. So we see Overlord skill getting acted, sitting on a 16k, and I'm noticing here that Jeff, which is the player that we are currently viewing, is not drawing any boosters at all. So there's a grade 3 sitting here in the back row. The only 2 grade 1s in hand, both are PGs. So that's definitely hurting. And then now he's having to swing Vanguard for a 1 to pass here, and does not hit the trigger. So he's going to keep the Dote player here at 1 counterblast. So that's going to limit the Dote player here from being able to use Dote's effect, assuming they don't have a Bellicosity in their hand. He's kind of sitting here for a minute, so he may not have the Bellicosity. We've seen a lot of Kagero played in our pods that we've been having lately. I believe we had one pod last night where there was like one MLB player and like everyone else was playing Kagero. So no, he had the Dote in hand and he's choosing to call it. So that tells me he didn't have the Bellicosity. Otherwise, he could have flipped one more damage face up with the Bellicosity and been able to use Dote's effect. So, this might end up being game here, depending on if there's a defensive. There is a defensive. Okay, so, well, not game, because he's got PGs in hand. So now it's going to come down to whether or not Hunter hits the trigger, and if they do, it's going to bait 1 PG out of Jeff's hand here. We have to keep our eye on the number of cards in each player's deck as well. I think we had a deck out earlier on in this bracket. from one of our other competitors who's already been knocked out now. So I've kind of been keeping an eye on the server this morning, trying to keep up with all the matchups and things like that. But I've also been watching a little bit of Vanguard If. I honestly did not think I was going to like it, but after watching both of the current episodes out, I actually enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. So I would definitely recommend checking that out if you guys have not. And I'm actually not even one to watch the anime a whole lot in general. Just it didn't really pique my interest the way I thought it would. I watched it back in G, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Aichi. I know everyone has their flaws. Everyone has their flaws, so I guess mine is that I wasn't the biggest Aichi fan. But like I said, I did watch it back in G. I did like a lot of the G characters a little bit more. I liked Onimaru, but again, I don't know if I've said this on a stream before or not, but I am a Nubatama like fanatic. So there's a reason why I'm an Onimaru fan. And then Inishi was a really cool character. Rin Hashima, the Gabrielle player, was really cool. So speaking of which, I'm really excited to see those cards coming back to the TCG. I know Gabrielle obviously hasn't been confirmed yet, but I'm kind of going off the assumption that she will be, because they are bringing back a lot of the G era bosses here. They've already confirmed Night Rose, Hari, Rising Nova recently, Gradora, and I love Gradora too. So, and obviously I'm just kind of naming off some of them that were my favorites. So, but if you guys played back in G era, if you guys played the TCG, you guys will definitely love what's coming in the TCG, which most of you probably already know. Most of you probably keep up with the Bushiroad streams and things like that. Oh, and now we see the Dote player has ridden Blockade, and that's due to the fact that here Jeff has 2 interceptors, and keeping Dote at 1 counterblast kind of limits how to play the deck. So I guess without drawing Bellicosity, this is basically the way to go. And that is kind of a downgrade, because you're going from an 11k to a 10k, but this is probably pushing for game at this point. There goes 1 PG, and as you can see, Jeff has 1 more left in his hand, so that'll get used on this Dote attack. And then it looks like we're going to have to bank on the heal trigger for the last rear guard attack. And let's see, he hits it, and no, he does not. So that means that Hunter will take game 1, and we will move on to game 2. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying watching this. I really enjoy hosting these tournaments for you guys, and so this is just really fun to interact with the community and to watch and host these things and get everybody involved, and especially with the fact that we are pretty much we're actually not set for Bushiroad official tournaments yet. We're still, the application has been made. We're basically just waiting on them to accept it, and in the rare case that they don't, then we'll just fix what we need to and reapply. But and this is a awkward hand for Hunter here. Set 3 back, and now did not draw any grade 3s. So let's this is going to be an interesting matchup. So we're currently now watching from Hunter's point of view, and Hunter is the one that just won game 1. So if they win this game here, the tournament is over, and Hunter will be our first ever Platinum roll. If Jeff, who has the Miwa skin, wins, then we will move on to a game 3, and we'll see how that goes. I'd also like to send a shout out to Dragfall. Dragfall got a few shout outs in our last season's league. for how well he was doing in the ranking system. Dragfall went on to win our league, so we did award Dragfall with our first diamond rank, which is actually after this gonna go to people who win our Bushiroad official tournaments. So, but Dragfall is going to be the first to get the rank because he won the last season's league. And our ranking system does renew every month, so it promotes continued activity, so that it's not like us, so that it doesn't grow stagnant. Somebody takes a high rank and then just goes, So next month, actually at the end of this month, when we host our end of the month Bushiroad official tourney, all of the rankings will reset, except whoever wins that will go into next month as a diamond. So, and we see the Tejas ride here, so I think at this point, Hunter is debating whether or not to swing on the Vanguard or swing on the Conroe in the back row, since we do not have the errata that Japan has yet. So for those who don't know, this is Tejas' effect. This unit can attack a unit in the back row opposite it, which means you can attack the back row in that same column. And there it goes, there's the attack on the Conroe. So you can't attack the other columns back rows, just the one that you're in. So in Japan, they had to errata this card and make it a rearguard only effect, so people could pull their starters behind their Vanguard and protect it. However, here in the global server, that card does not have an errata. So you can do what Hunter just did here and snipe the starter behind the Vanguard. And a lot of our player base kind of knows all of this stuff, but I prefer to commentate and tell you guys exactly what's going on here, so that no one's kind of left out of the knowing, I guess. Here's a defensive draw trigger. Now this is kind of a blessing in disguise here for Hunter. Hunter just drew a grade 3 off of it. However, that is one less Dote in the deck. So I believe that's the first one to have come out of the deck. Checking damage over here. And here's the Dragonic Overlord ride. Yeah, that was the first Dote out of deck. So assuming they run 4, they still have 3 left in deck. But and I'm gonna assume that because this is a Dote deck, they probably have 4. But some of us aren't that lucky. Some of us don't have those good of pulls. I still have not opened any of my packs yet from last season. So I could have a bunch of Dotes and MLBs and all that waiting for me and don't even know it yet. So right now we're seeing the damage is 2 to 3. So we saw kind of a rush here from Hunter. And now Jeff is riding Dote. So we do have confirmation now that they are playing a Dragonic Overlord the end deck. It just didn't draw it last game apparently. So and I'm gonna assume that last card in his hand is another copy so that he can resend the Vanguard. No, it's not. Okay. So he just swung Vanguard and Rearguard, more than likely for a damage denial type play, to kind of keep Hunter here from having too much face-up damage to be able to use Dote on multiple occasions and things like that. And we did just see the top deck Dote. So the question is he going to ride it for the cross ride power, or is he going to sit on Dragonic Overlord since he can actually use its skill? Dote, you cannot use the skill up yet because it's a Persona Blast. And no, he's going to call it a rear. So we're not going for the cross ride power play. And for anyone who wouldn't know, and there's another Dote coming out of the deck, and that's going to go to drop because that was technically a trigger check. So that means there's only one left in deck, which means at this point Hunter here will not be using Dote this game. Because there's only one left in deck, you can't discard a copy. So Although he's definitely pushing for a more aggressive play anyway. So we'll see if that pays off. We did just see Jeff hit the heel. Although Jeff is also not drawing a copy of his Vanguard. So we haven't actually seen Dote skill used during this game. We did see it during game 1. And now we see Jeff going for a sort of control play. He's counterblasting 3 to use Overlord on rear guard and kind of snipe off these rears, while also hitting magic numbers. And as you can see, the dual axe over here just gained game power to become a 13k, so now that column's sitting at 21. So now we do have nice magic number columns in case Hunter here hits the defensive. And there is no defensive, so we see a discard of Overlord to draw another card, and Jeff here is definitely digging for something, whether it be Dote or whether it be Perfect Guards, probably a little bit of both. And now we see Hunter hitting a heal trigger that will activate, so we're at 4 damage for each player. And there goes Heat Nail Salamander's skill, so he's definitely going for the board control game at this point. Which is probably a smart move now that he has seen that 3 Dotes are out of deck. He knows that Hunter here will not be using Dote skill. So you can definitely go for a more board control play and not have to worry about the Vanguard continuously restanding and refreshing your hand. The Dragonic Overlord on Vanguard, or the one in hand, is called the rear guard, can restand, but it's not nearly as threatening as Dote in my opinion, just because it doesn't draw you the cards that you could need for next turn. And he's calling the PG, so and this could be game right here. Gaining 5 just so that you can hit the magic numbers. You actually don't even have to swing on the rear guard right here because there are no interceptors. Obviously you want to anyway, because you want to make sure your opponent doesn't have rear guards in case they do survive the turn. And it's very smart to use the rear guard Dragonic Overlord if you do use it, due to the fact that it loses drive checks. So on rear guard it doesn't have them to begin with. So typically you do want to use it on rear guard like this right here. And we're seeing a defensive draw trigger. However, Dragonic Overlord is already big enough to get over the defensive. So now we're going to see, does he have the PG? Yes, Jeff has the PG. So we're going to see another turn. And we're going to see what exactly Jeff can pull off against Hunter here. And it's going to take some pretty wild shenanigans, because Hunter does have 2 PGs in hand. So, and there's a defensive trigger, so that's going to really hurt Jeff's turn here. And now he has to bank on a trigger to hit. And that's not going to hit a trigger. So these PGs are actually going to stay in hand. And let's see is Hunter going to finish it off here. And there's I'm assuming your Tejas going on the interceptor, and then you have 2 attacks right there. So unless you see a double heal trigger, well, or a heal here and then no offensive trigger, obviously, this should be it. And yes, that will be the match. So our first Platinum Tourney champion will be Hunter. Thank you guys for watching. This has been a fun match to watch. If you guys are not in the server, please join the server so that you can have a chance to win real gacha packs in these Bushiroad official tourneys. You're gonna want to play in these small tourneys like this one right here, so that you can level up your rank, so that you can make sure that you have first priority into these Bushiroad tournaments. Our server is already over a couple hundred people, and we're only allowing 64 in these Bushiroad official tourneys. If we allowed I believe it's 128. You actually have to go through Bushy Road and do additional stuff. So we're stopping it at 64. 64 is a nice even number. Makes a nice little bracket. If you guys watch March Madness, I don't think a lot of people that watch these are sports fans. But if you guys watch March Madness, you know how that works. It's 64 bracket. No buys, no anything. So that's what we're doing for our Bushy Road official tournament at the end of the month. So with several hundred people in the server, there's no guarantee that you get in. So you're going to want to make sure you play in these smaller tournaments, you rank up your role so that you get first registration into these Bushy Road official tournaments. Alright, so anyway, you're going to want to join this. Who doesn't want free packs, right? So, thanks everybody for watching, and this is King Slayer signing out.